Hi Aries, welcome to your September 2018 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic Cross spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you got a extra card in the main situation position and also in the near future position. And then we have an oracle card that we'll read at the end to help tie everything together. Alright, so let's go through the cards one by one. And starting with the main situation, you had two cards, like I said, and that was the Nine of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. So to me, with these two cards, I feel like this could be saying a couple of things. One is that what you've been wishing for could be available to you, but you might be closed off about it. Or maybe it's saying because, well, for fewer of you, this could also be saying that by you holding back, it gets you what you want. So, that could be anything. Maybe, let's say, if it's career related, since we do have Pentacles on the board, this could be saying maybe someone makes you an offer for a job and you feel like they're not offering enough pay or maybe enough benefits, so you might show a little hesitance to accept the offer, not necessarily declining it outright, but maybe letting them know that you were hoping for more, and then maybe by doing so you end up getting more, which would end up being what you were wishing for originally. That's one way it could play out, especially because I do see a lot of pentacles on the board altogether for this spread. For some of you, it could be pertaining to romantic relationships, since on the flip side, we do have cups energy as well. And if that's the case, what it might be saying here is that you may need to open up a little bit more and accept this. I feel like something or someone is in your life right now, or will be in the month of September, and they're actually everything that you wanted, but you're still a little closed off about it, and feeling a little reluctant to trust it. And I'll get to why I think that's the case when we get to the near future position. But yeah, and this could even just be actually referring to energies going on in the sky right now, because this represents 10 to 20 degrees of Pisces, and we have Neptune there right now. And then this actually represents 20 to 30 degrees of Capricorn, and your ruler Mars is actually there right now. I'm recording this on the 21st of August, and then a week from now, it's finally going to go direct in Capricorn, which will be in these degrees in particular. So maybe once that energy shifts, maybe that'll help you move forward as well. With Mars being your ruler, you guys just might not have been feeling like yourselves fully as far as energy and your normal, initiative to start new things. In the challenge position, we have the Eight of Swords. So another way this could be playing out too, as I look at the other cards in the spread, could be saying that these are two different things. On the one hand, you have your finances that you need to attend to, but there's also some love energy on the table. And that would make sense as far as the astrology goes too, just because the sun is going to be in Virgo, which is your 6th house, so that could have you focusing on work. And there are actually a couple of Virgo cards here on the table. And then on the flip side, you actually have Venus in your opposite sign right now, so that could usually, point to some love relationship activity. So it could just be saying that that's what you're dealing with, trying to decide between the two. Because I definitely, looking at the spread as a whole, it seems like there's two very clear, distinct energies. It's like there's work and there's love, but they seem to be very separate from one another in the spread. So that could be what it is. You're just having difficulty deciding which one to focus on more. Alright, in the foundation position, we have the Queen of Cups. So for me, this is normally the court card for Cancer. So some of you could be dealing with a Cancer, but just looking at the spread as a whole, I'm really getting the feeling that this is actually going to be you guys, and just maybe, in a more recent past, let's say maybe you've been more focused on emotional matters, maybe even dealing with your family. That's another possibility. because Cancer is the fourth house for you guys, and that deals with family, your roots. So that could be how that's playing out. In the past position, we have the Judgment card. So what this could be pointing to is that something that you thought was dead and gone has actually come back to life. That could be a job offer, it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, something that you didn't think you'd see resurface again has resurfaced again. That's what this energy is about. And if that's the case, it seems to be faded, even if it's just you have to learn a lesson with that person or with that situation, or if it's actually meant to be here for the long run. But if something has come back into your life recently, just know that that's what this could be pointing to. All right, in the present position, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is my court card that usually represents Capricorn for me. So you could be taking on that energy of Capricorn, especially since your ruler is in Capricorn right now. That could certainly be the case. Or this could just be pointing again to the fact that your ruler will be going direct in Capricorn. Maybe that's saying that that'll have you focusing on your career more, because that would be your 10th house. So again, I get that vibe. Like I said, I feel like both of these energies are probably you, as opposed to them being two different people, or even you and one other person. I feel like the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles are both you. It's almost like mirroring each other, which is saying that you're split. And that's where this energy comes from, the Eight of Swords. It's like, trying to decide, do I want to just focus on finances? Do I want to focus on this? So just seems like that's something, an energy you're going to be dealing with most of the month, because it just seems to be repeating itself. I mean, you look at the Water Pentacles. These first two cards, we had the Pentacles and the Water. Pentacles, Water, Water, Pentacles. So it just seems like it's a back and forth. It's just, it's just standing out to me too much to not be what it's involving. And like I said, even looking at the astrology, those energies seem to be at play too. You have the fact that Venus is in the opposite sign, and the fact that the sun will be in your work sector. So could just be balancing those two. And if that is what the case may be, especially with the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, with your ruler having been retrograde for so long, you might feel like you need to make up for lost time, because maybe you didn't have the energy you normally would to apply to your work life. So now that your ruler is going to be going direct again, you might just feel like you're more pressed for time, that, all right, I have to make this happen now. So, maybe you've been in this more emotional and love-related cycle, and now you're like, no, I gotta, I finally have my energy back, I need to plug away at work. That could be what it is. All right, in the near future position, we have the Two of Cups and the Moon. So this could just be emphasizing, having the Moon here with the Two of Cups. This could just be emphasizing that this would be an emotional offer that you receive. That's certainly going to be the case for some of you. Sometimes the Moon, people refer to it as being deceptive. It's not as much that. To me, it's more like the Eight of Swords energy. It's saying that everything you need to know is there in front of you. You just might have to feel the situation out more. And the example I always give is, if you're in a room that you're unfamiliar with, while the light's on in that room, you feel comfortable navigating around because it's just second nature. You're able to walk around and not worry about running into anything. But then if you turn those lights off, let's say you wake up in the middle of the night, you might have to feel around for the light switch for a bit because you're not familiar with the room. You might have to feel around, make sure you don't stub your toe on anything before you put the light on. So that's usually how I see the Moon. It's not that there's, anything shifted around. No one moved the furniture on you while you were sleeping. It's just that you're not as familiar with the room. So you need to be a little more cautious to make sure that nothing happens. But Two of Cups in the upright, it does seem like it's a legit offer. If someone does extend a love offer to you, or if you just connect with someone in general, it looks like it would be a good connection. So something to keep in mind there. All right. And your influence in the situation, we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is actually a Virgo card as well. It represents 10 to 20 degrees of Virgo. So this could just be talking about the energy that you're feeling right when September kicks off, because that's more or less when those degrees will be at play. And this could just be saying to be receptive too. Sometimes this is seen as referred to as the single lady card, but more than anything, it's more about that receptive energy, similar to the Empress card. And maybe that's what's bringing all these things to you, actually. Maybe that's what this is saying. Because you were being more open and receptive, all of these offers start coming in. And maybe you're still a little reluctant to accept them because, like I said, especially with Mars being retrograde for so long, you just might have felt a little out of sorts. And I mean, if that's the case, it's going to be direct already by the time September kicks off, and then it'll start to pick up speed too. So you should be gaining your energy as the month goes along. All right, in the position of the environment's influence on the situation, you got the King of Cups. So normally this is my court card that represents Scorpio. So you could be dealing with a Scorpio. This could be any water sign though. Could also be a Cancer or a Pisces. And if it's not even a water sign at all, it could just be saying the energy that that person is bringing to you. So again, this could definitely point to, this leads me to believe, like we were saying, all of that back and forth, cups, pentacles, cups, pentacles, pentacles, cups, cups, pentacles. That leads me to believe that if there is an offer being made, it would be someone making an offer to you. And then, maybe the Eight of Swords is you deciding, do you want to accept that? Because, like I said, if you felt like you haven't had the energy to apply to your work and now you do, you might feel like it might, derail your plans. You might get off track. That's a possibility. Like I said, there's definitely energy to support it, though. You'll have Venus in your opposite sign for a bit, and then towards the end of the month, the moon will be in your opposite sign as well. I mean, the sun, rather, will be in your opposite sign as well. So that could definitely bring some love relationship energy. All right. And in the hopes or fears position, we have the Page of Cups. Normally, I would say that this would be a hope for most people, but like I said, just seeing, it looks like you're just more focused with the Pentacle energies, so you might actually be fearing that someone is going to make an offer to you. Or on another level, it could be because of the moon. Sometimes it can be not that you're being deceived, but you might feel like something's deceptive. So that might be what it is too. You might feel like you can't trust the offer someone makes to you because you see the fish in the cup. I mean, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to drink that. But yeah. So you might just feel like, all right, something seems a little off with this offer, so you might be reluctant to accept it if that's the case. So that could be what's at play there. And sometimes what I say with the Page of Cups too is it's an offer that you get, but you don't take it that seriously. So even if it's not necessarily deceptive, you might feel like, okay, they might be trying to make it sound like something more than it is, right? So maybe that's where you're at with that. Then in the outcome position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is actually the court card for me that represents Virgo. So this could just be, again, pointing to what your focus is going to be on during the time of Virgo, which is just focused on your money. If you look at this, if you look at the Knights, the Knight of Wands, which is the fire sign knight, and then the Knight of Swords are both very fast moving. You could see in their environment, you could see the horse is actually moving really fast. And if you look at this horse here, it looks like he's not even moving at all, right? So that's what it means. This could be saying a few things. Maybe you've been working at a goal for a long time and now you finally feel like you've gotten there. That's one way it could be. It could be maybe that you have been waiting for an offer from someone, and maybe with this judgment, In the past, that means that it finally came around, but it just felt like it took forever. That could be what's at play there. Um, so, that's just a couple ways that it could play out. And for some of you, you could totally be dealing with Virgo as well. That's possible. Um, but the more likely scenarios I'm seeing there is that this is talking about you, something that you've been working on for a while. And maybe even this is still, again, referring to the Mars retrograde energy you guys have been dealing with, that now as it moves forward in your 10th house, you finally feel like, okay, I have the energy for this now. And maybe you haven't had that the past couple of months. All right, let's take a look at the Oracle card. You have Regeneration, and there's the artwork for it, and the number is 46. So, I've pulled this card a few times, and even without pulling the card, just the name Regeneration makes me think of the Judgment card. So, it definitely seems like something's come back around from the past, whether that be, work, relationship, maybe family, since we did have, like I said, that's 4th house energy there, maybe even reconnecting with family that you may have had a falling out with. All right, let's take a look at the messages. It says rebirthed, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message: second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So, if we look at that particular part of the message, let's say, since we do have 2 cup cards here, let's say what that means is maybe it's saying that this is how you perceived it in the past, right? Whether it be, certainly it could be love since it's cups, but let's say it's anything. Any offer you received in the past seemed like this to you initially, where you couldn't take it seriously, but now with this in the environment, it looks like it's stronger than it was before, right? Going from the page to the king, that's a big jump there. So, a more authentic, stronger form. And that brings me back to what I said in the beginning. If you were in that 4 of Pentacles energy, for example, holding back, because maybe this was how you perceived that offer. Okay, this isn't a serious offer. And then that I said for a small portion of you, maybe holding back gets you what you want. So maybe that's what this is referring to. By holding back, someone initially gave you an offer like this. You holding back led to them now coming back, okay, in a much more serious, stable format to give you another offer. All right, for those of you if this resonated as a relationship reading, we'll read that next. It says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what losses occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment, you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So, again, that, like I was saying, that Pentacles, Cups energy, it definitely seems like the Cups energy is coming more from someone else than you. Like I said, you seem to be coming across as the Pentacles in this spread. So that could be saying that maybe because you've been focused on yourself, like this is a very independent, self-focused card, for example, by doing that, that actually attracts love to you. And maybe you're a little reluctant to accept that, but with the 9 of Cups there, looks like it's saying it is what you've been hoping for. All right, and for those of you if this resonated as finance, because obviously we've covered that already, let's look at that message. It says, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you, a new start. A more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when, out of seeming loss and failure, comes remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing a rebirth. So, even though there are no clear cards here that pointed to you having a failure, with the judgment card there, that could just be saying that whatever setbacks you did experience, and maybe you thought, oh, I'm not going to get another shot at this, even if it's not that exact thing, maybe it's something similar, or like it said there, even something better. So, like we said, maybe you were hoping for this, right? And you didn't get it for whatever reason, and now look at this, something even better comes along. The king is obviously higher than the page, so all this time you were hoping for this, it wasn't coming, you felt like it was taking forever, and now something even better comes along because you shifted your energy and started focusing on yourself. And that's how these things happen a lot of times, so that wouldn't surprise me. All right, so we'll wrap up there, Aries, and I'll talk to you all next month. Bye.